Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you find yourself in this weird, wild, wacky world of ours, and welcome to the exciting installment of Darkness in Dublin. The scene takes place in Ballyfermot, in the north of the city of Dublin. It's one of those estates where, or rather, one of those suburbs where, frankly, less is more. It's one of those places where many of the city's working poor make their homes. So the place is not by any means extravagant. It is a series of running, twisting, turning residential estates that the Camarilla and the Sabbat have recently determined to make their new battleground. Every night, roving packs of Sabbat clash with the disciplined defenders of several of the Camarilla strongholds located throughout the area. So it is that we find our intrepid adventurer wending and twisting his way through the narrow streets just after sunset.
Everett looks around. He looks around the deserted street, and using his soldier's experience, he looks for where would the enemy want to be holed up at? Where would they? What sort of choke points? What sort of positions would they be taking? And he goes to investigate those.
Okay. As he wends and twists his way through the opaque streets, it's very dark this evening. The full moon has just been and gone, so now, frankly, there's only a sliver of brightness above you. You'll hear a scratching noise from behind a low wall, roughly about 4 foot high, that separates two opposing gardens and two separate houses from each other, as a figure pops its head up. It's a young woman, you'd guess probably about the age of 17, 18. Question, are you walking around with obfuscate on or obfuscate off?
Obfuscate on.
Okay. What level of obfuscate do you have?
I have 3 levels of obfuscate.
Okay. She looks around entirely oblivious to everything around her before she pops her head back down again.
Silently patting, making sure each step is deliberate. Everett walks over to the wall and peers over it to see where she's at.
She is crouched in a low position, her back pressed against the whitewashed wall. She's not particularly attractive as a person. Her hair is dirty and streaked with grime. Her eyes seem to be intent as her eyes are flicking from the doorway of the house through it at the other end of a short walkway that cuts through the grass and the outside of the outside of this barricade that she's hunkered herself behind. She's not wearing any markings or items to show any of her affiliations. You're not even sure if she's a kindred or not. However, she's appears to be watching the road.
Okay, so she appears to be watching the road. Can I make a roll to see if she has any weapons on her?
You can roll perception awareness if you would like, or perception alertness rather, if you would like.
Perception alertness. Let's see if I can. Perception alertness. Oh, and just at a character note, my the master lock that he has on his equipment is tied to his bandana to make a simple weapon.
Okay.
Perception alertness. I got a 7, 10, and a 9.
Okay, she does indeed have 2 combat knives that are in holsters. You guess some kind of Bowie knives that are hung from her belt.
Okay, so is she aware of me right now?
She doesn't seem to be. She looks straight through you.
Okay, I am going to walk behind her, put a knife to her throat, and I'm gonna say,
You are where the talking will drop your obfuscate.
yeah, I figured I'd be crouched up behind her,
Yeah,
and
that's
then
fine.
yeah, I'm gonna go up behind her, put a knife to her throat, and ask her in a low guttural voice, "Do you serve the tower, the ivory tower?"
Whoa, whoa, mate. Calm down. She'll say. She looks down towards the knife. I serve me. There's an answer to that question. There's no need to get violent.
So, are you of the blood of Cain?
I mean, let's go with yes.
Can I tell if she's a Cainite?
Do you have Auspex? Auspex does it.
Do not, unfortunately.
She doesn't appear to be. You can roll perception empathy to see if she's lying. She said, "Let's go with yes."
Perception empathy. If I don't have the actual skill, or if I don't have the points, if I just have the attribute, not the skill, how would that work? Do I get minuses to that?
Not to empathy. No. Everyone gets. You can roll perception at difficulty 6 because empathy is a talent.
Yeah. All right. 7, 8, and 10.
She does not appear to be lying.
Let's go with that. So I'm gonna say, so you're an anarch.
Idly. I just have different political leanings. Now, can we please remove the knife away from, what's, left of my lovely face? Thanks.
Um. Says nothing comes for free. Everything has a price. Where are the Camarilla in this area? I need information.
I like how you assume that I know these things.
It's worth a shot. Worst thing you can tell me is you don't know.
That's oddly fair. I kind of can't argue with that logic as much as I'd really like to.
So where are they?
Well, I honestly haven't. I've got some idea, but then again, I'm not exactly sure. As it stands, I was here to meet a contact about something completely unrelated, and, well, frankly, then there was a knife to my throat.
Who is the contact?
A member of a different religious organization to yourself.
Setites, then.
Wow, 10 out of 10.
Out of game real quick. My character does know that this was the Setites selling weapons to both sides on this one.
You don't know.
Okay, I don't know that one. Okay, fair
Nope.
enough.
Mostly because it's a question no one's asked.
See, one thing, every military campaign relies on logistics. Okay, so my character looks at her and says, "So this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna take the knife from your throat. You're gonna meet, and I'm going to do what I do best, which is to remain unseen. You're gonna meet with your contact, and you're gonna pretend like nothing happens, and I'm going to observe. If you break this, I will come out of the shadows, and even if I die, I will hurt you. I don't care what it takes. I will put my fangs in your throat. Got me?"
Do you want to roll me some charisma intimidation?
Sounds good. Charisma intimidation. Oh, dice, don't fail me now. Yep, that's much.
Okay. Hi, that's nice that you're trying to be all I am the knight, but unfortunately you're not Batman. So why don't you just take the knife away and we'll try and all be good little children of the whatever the fuck we are, whatever the fuck you believe, whatever the fuck I believe. For the record, hi, my name's Mouse. People call me Mouse. It's nice to meet you.
This is fair enough. Takes away the knife and What would he say at this point? He says, pretty soon, Mouse, you're going to have to pick sides. And he's going to go obfuscate again once he walk away from her and then obfuscate away. So I guess I'll have to use my Cloak of Shadows. Unseen Presence. So I don't know if you want me to roll the Wit Stealth for that one?
Please.
Okay.
I assume you will move out of sight in order to reestablish obfuscations you don't have.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He wants to make it seem like he's walking away, although he did already tell her a plan, so it's kind of fucked on that one. Wits is 3 stealth force or something. I don't know. Are you counting tens as doubles?
Yeah, not on discipline rolls now.
Okay, so 2 successes.
Okay, that's more than sufficient. You'll see her kind of brush herself down, and she sighs like, before.
I'm sitting there thinking to myself, how does she survive this long?
She's Mouse. Do you question Mouse? Not really. But okay. A couple of minutes later, you will see 2 or 3 figures walking. Yeah, 2 figures, definitely. No, 3. There's another one, but he's staying back in the shadows, and he's not actively moving out into the street lamps like the other 2 are. Yes, definitely 3. 3 figures approach. All of them are dressed in very, very long, flowing black coats, kind of like trench coats. They all have a vaguely Middle Eastern look. One of them is holding a briefcase.
Okay. I'm just going to keep observing what they're doing.
Okay. Hey, Ashad. So good to see you again. I hope that you have the payment this time, little mouse. Oh, of course. I mean, I wouldn't let you guys down. Otherwise, if I did, you'd break my legs. I like my legs. My legs are very firmly attached to me. Yes, whatever you say. Needless to say, I just want the money, in which case you get the merchandise. Oh, wonderful. Okay, that's, seems like a plan. Thank you, Rashad. This is why I heart you. I heart you as much as I do. Just shut up, mouse, and give me the just shut up, mouse, and give me the money. Okay, Rashad. You'll see she reaches into the pocket of her hoodie and she withdraws an envelope that she hands over to the large Eurasian man, who will in turn hand her a briefcase before he'll turn and he'll say, I let him know that you were on time for once. Oh, thanks. I mean, yeah, no, please don't say my name to him. That would mean he'd know my name, and I really don't want that. No, not at all. Goodbye, mouse. Goodbye, Rashad. Bye-bye. Toodles. At which point, the individuals in question will make to walk away.
I'm going to follow them.
Okay. You will follow them down. You will follow the 2 of them. The one who is who has obviously made an effort to stay out of the street lamps, moves before them, whereas the other 2 walk. I take it your character cannot speak any semblance of Arabic.
No, he did not. I mean, he would recognize some of it because he was in the Iraq War, but it would be like kind of your. It would be anything that it would only the only things you probably understand are things related to the military. So gun, intel, like just basic stuff like that. And he wasn't high up. He was an infantryman, so it's not like he was in intelligence or anything like that. He just knows basic Arabic, enough to keep him alive in a combat situation, I would imagine.
Okay, cool. You don't really recognize any of the words they're saying at all, but they appear to be having a rather rapid conversation with one another as they wend and twist their way through the streets.
When they start to speak, could I record them on? I mean, I didn't put it on my sheet, but Would it be a jump for my character to have a cell phone on him?
No, that's fine. You will have to get obnoxiously close though to actually get a really good feeling for a really good read on it, but they don't seem to be able to see through your obfuscate.
And that's what I'm going to try and do. I'm going to go ahead and get close and record their conversation.
Okay. You will have to basically sync your steps very, very carefully, or else they're going to walk into you. Yeah, that's fine. You record much of their conversation. They will eventually turn down down into a dark alleyway that is completely unlit, and you will see a sign for a bar that simply is called, ironically, the Snake Trap.
Okay.
Because who needs subtlety?
What's that?
Because who needs subtlety?
Who needs subtlety? Well, I would imagine if you're an immortal being, half of the fun would be getting over on other people and proving that you're smarter than them, I'd imagine. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and evaluate the bar from the outside. Look how many entrances and exits there are.
There only appears to be a single. There only appears to be a single exit and entrance, which is the large set of double doors over where the sign is hung. Otherwise, it appears to be a solidly built brick. It seems to be a solidly built brick building on a back street. There are no other real signs that any kind of habitation exists here, with the exception of the door that they pass through.
Is there any security out in front?
No.
Cameras?
There is a security camera, yes.
Fuck it. On my guy's cell phone, because I do have a high level of resources. Would it be inconceivable that he could have access to his accounts and basically show someone how much money he has? That he means business?
I beg your pardon, sorry, I didn't hear that.
Yeah. So like, my character, what I'm thinking is that his phone would have access to all of his bank accounts and whatnot, right? So because I have like a high level of resources for this character, so I'm thinking I'm gonna make a deal with them, but I need to show them that I'm good for it, essentially.
That's fine. You can pull up your account statements on your phone.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna walk up to the door. Like check behind me, make sure no mortals or anybody are looking. I'm gonna drop the obfuscate and knock on the door.
No one answers the door, but you can clearly tell it's open.
Okay, I'm gonna open the door then.
All right. You enter and you find yourself at the head of a long staircase leading down. It appears to be the walls and the floor are carpeted in red, and it has a red paint job on the walls.
Somebody really likes red. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna just head down the door then.
All right. You find yourself in an oval room, roughly about 20 feet, 20 feet across by about 40 foot wide, that has a bar curling up against one side. It's very dark in here, as a matter of fact. You can barely see. It's lit by a number of purple lamps that appear to be throwing an odd purple light all over the room. There's only about 5 or 6 people in here who all look up at you when you enter.
Okay.
I think that you might be lost, friend.
Not lost, just looking to do business.
I see. Business. You'll see a figure seated at one end of the room. He is seated. He's the only one who's sitting down. All of the others are stood up around the room. He is a... How to describe him? He is a... He's dressed in very, very fine clothes. He has, once again, a very obviously Eurasian appearance. Clearly, somebody from you would assume Egypt or Syria, based on his complexion. He's wearing sunglasses despite the incredible lack of light, and he'll kind of gesture you over with a single finger.
He comes over. He walks over, and I extend my hand and say, "Everett King, Abbot of the Knights of Blood. Pleased to meet you."
Okay. He will extend his hand back and he will say, Salam alaikum. It is a pleasure to meet you, Mr. King, was it?
Yes, King. Everett King.
My name is Hashem. May we interest you in a drink?
Yes, it's always good to. It's never good to turn down hospitality.
He'll make a gesture to the bar, at which point you'll see the barman nod. He'll walk in the back of a swinging set of double doors. Before about 2 minutes later, he will return and he will place a glass down in front of you. The glass is filled with a thick, red, viscous liquid.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and drink it.
You will regain 1 point of vitae.
Fantastic.
So, how is it that we may be of service?
I need information on the Camarilla, where their hiding places are. Hold on, let's add a game real quick. Has the sheriff been found yet? I have been kind of.
No, he hasn't been.
Okay, and what was his name again?
His name was Hennessy.
I'm gonna look and say, and also I'm gonna need to know just general information on the Camarilla, their sources of supply, their hideouts, and the location of Hennessy.
I see. If I told you what Hennessy was, I would not have a very long and happy life, or unlife as the case may be. However, information on the Camarilla's remaining outposts is possible. However, we have our own dealings that concern us. So, I'm curious, why is it that you think the embrace of the Setites is worth your time and effort? We, after all, have different views on practically everything. For all you know, we could be working with the Camarilla to undermine your interests.
Nothing is ever sure in this life, and if all you ever did was wait for things to be perfect, you wouldn't get much done. I'm taking a risk, calculated risk, but I would imagine that you undermining my interests. Well, you see, if I was, well, just to put myself in your shoes, I wouldn't want to undermine too much of either side. Selling weapons and supplies to both in a war is very profitable. So I have a mind to think that you're selling to both. Not as an insult. It's just good business. Can't fault a man for doing good business.
Weapons? He'll shake his head. We don't sell weapons.
What do you sell?
He'll snap his fingers, at which point the bartender, sorry, my brain just froze there, will once again move from behind the bar. He'll bring with him this time around a small tray. On the tray, there is a cellophane baggie. In the cellophane baggie, you will see a number of bright red crystals.
I'm just gonna kind of pick up one of the bags and examine it.
Okay.
Very interesting. And these
Have
are?
you, as a person, ever seen crystal meth before it's smashed to be taken?
Not, I've never seen it in person, but I've seen it on TV and whatnot. So I kind of get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Now is this Vitae? Is this infused with Vitae, or is that the red just a byproduct of the chemical processes?
You're very smart. We call it cult.
call it what? Out of character. Well, what did he say in here?
We call it cult.
Cult. Okay, I'll make sure I heard right. Good branding is always good. And I would imagine that this is extremely addictive, like our blood.
He'll shrug.
Well, I have significant financial resources. He puts his phone, opens up the phone, make sure they can't really see the account information per se, but just the money aspect of it. And he slides the phone to him. Says, "This is the kind of resources I'm working with. We will win." And I would imagine that backing the winning side has great benefits for business.
Perhaps. However, this is not a decision I'm able to unilaterally make. I am simply a supplier. In order for there to be any unilateral declaration for one side or another, it would have to be placed before my superiors.
Understandable. Although I would greatly appreciate at least having someone such as yourself who can see reason. We have them on the run here, and I would be in your debt if you were to voice your opinion voice the right opinion to your superior.
Perhaps. I think that there is the possibility that we may be able to do business.
And as you can see with my resources, I will not be someone who is late. I will pay what is owed. Is there any way I could make a meeting to speak with your superior? I do not know if it's bad form in your clan or not. You must apologize if that's bad form to ask.
I will see if he wishes to speak to you. Do you possess contact information?
Hold on one second.
You want to hear me singing? Go ahead.
So, my character would have like a burner phone, I'd imagine.
Yes.
Okay. He gives them the contact information and says, thank you. Thank you for hearing me out, and I would like to thank him or her for considering my request, even if the answer is no. It is greatly appreciated.
You will not. It has been a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Mr. King.
Likewise. And my character gets up and he leaves.
Okay. The door will close behind you.
All right. He's going to go back out onto the street and see if he can find any more trouble to get into. Oh, I'm going to obfuscate, by the way, before I head out onto the street proper.
No, honestly, you're very there's nothing really else much happening this evening. You're not exactly sure if it's because maybe it's the two sides just maneuvering in such a way that they haven't bumped into each other, or maybe that, people are unable to see you, so nothing really happens. But you will spend the rest of your evening on the bright side. You will come to know this area relatively well. So if you ever have to find your way around it again, you'll at least know where everything is, etc. However, you have made at least one important contact, and now know a little bit more about how things are functioning in the city as a given whole. So, are you happy with this as a scene and outcome?
Yes, I am. I'm good with that. I'd like to schedule another scene for feeding. I haven't really spent any blood points, so.
Have you read my rules on the feeding system?
I have not.
I will post them to you. Don't worry about it. Anyway, thank you, Blair, for playing. Thank you for watching. This has been another scene in Darkness in Dublin. Have a pleasant evening.